conflicts there. But if you have come to this country or go to any country for that matter, and you assimilate yourself and become one with the community, then there will be greater awareness. And I'm sure some of you might probably know about this, but there's a very interesting story about the Parsis, the Zoroastrian people who came to India about 800-900 years ago. And they were persecuted in Iran, and so they had to take refuge, and they came in a ship to the coast of Gujarat. And when they landed there, the delegation went to the king, the local king, and asked for a place for them to stay there. And the king was a very dramatic king, and so he had a glass of water there, and it was a full glass of water. So he said, well, my state right now is like this glass of water. There's no room for any more to be added there. It's a full glass. So I can't give you any place to stay. So this head of the delegation took out a packet of sugar and put that in the glass of water and stirred it. And he said, this is what will happen if you give us place. We will not overfill the glass, but we'll sweeten the glass.
Wow.
So our presence in this country, or any immigrant coming to this country, should sweeten the local society by their presence and not be constantly or forever apart from that society.
Wonderful. Thank you.
My name is Ramsakash Agrawal, and thank you very much for sharing your personal experiences directly with Gandhi, which were very, very touching. My question is, Gandhiji was a great believer of Bhagavad Gita. And whole Bhagavad Gita is about war. Even person like Krishna, who tried to avoid this non-violence or whatever you war, he failed, and the war took place. My question is, when some people have a philosophy not to believe in non-violence, or some religion or countries, how to deal with that?
Well, I think, all these scriptures, every scripture, not just the Bhagavad Gita, but all the scriptures are written in such ambiguous language that they lend themselves to all kinds of translations. So people can see anything they want to in the scriptures and come to their own conclusion. Grandfather's conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita was that it was not the depiction of an actual war. And what Lord Krishna was saying to Arjuna was not fighting an actual war, but it's a war that goes on in our minds all the time, every day. The war between good and evil, when we have to make a choice between that. And sometimes we don't want to make a choice because the person who committed evil or done something evil is close to us or our relative or something, and so we want to sit back and not take any action there. And what Lord Krishna was saying is that evil is evil, and you've got to fight that evil, whoever commits that evil. So it's a question of whether you accept the Bhagavad Gita as an actual war which justifies going and fighting with people, in which case we would have to divide the world between the good and the bad. And we can't do that because each one of us has the capacity to do good or do bad, depending on what buttons are pressed. I can do something bad if somebody presses the wrong buttons to me, and for that temporary moment I would be bad. So how do we define people as good and bad? By one action, if we say, well, this one action he did, and therefore deserves to die for it. But there may be 100 things that he did good. So, we have to remember that war, and Lord Krishna was talking about the war that goes on in our minds all the time between good and bad, and it's a war that we are constantly fighting. It was not just a war that took place 5,000 years ago. It's a war that is going on right now in our own minds.